Are we live? Hi. We're just waiting for Shea to join us. She's our special guest today. We're so excited. I'm sure you know her. Her name is Shea McGee, and her company is Studio McGee. That's her design firm. And her retail store online is McGee & Co. And you might also know her from Dream Home Makeover. There are 2 seasons up on Netflix, and I understand the 3rd season is just being wrapped in production. So we've got so much to talk about. I'm sure she'll be joining us soon. Thank you, whoever just said my 2 favorites. And good morning to you too. And I'm excited too. I love this handle, Million Year Scandals. She's trying to join. I just got a note saying that she was having a hard time connecting. Hello from Calgary. I'm sitting in my office at House and Home Media, and on my bulletin board behind me are all my favorite people and things, some of them anyway. And today we're going to talk about modern country style, which many people think Shea kind of invented, or maybe we could call it modern farmhouse style. We'll see what she thinks of those. She's joining now.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Shea.
Good to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. We have a lot of excited viewers. We've been getting all kinds of texts from them and Instagram posts wanting to do this. So where are you sitting right now?
This is in my studio, in my house above.
In Utah?
Yes, in Utah, yes.
And what city?
It's right outside of Salt Lake.
Great. So first I want to say congratulations on your huge success.
Oh, thank you.
Been following you carefully and big fans of Studio McGee and also McGee & Co., your online store.
Oh, thanks.
And I understand you have tons of news to share with us today. So before I ask you all my design questions, let's talk about your news.
Oh, my news. Well, we just wrapped filming season 3 of our show, Dream Home Makeover, on Netflix. And we were nominated for an Emmy for our
I didn't know that.
2nd season. So that's in a couple of weeks. So just really excited to be nominated, and we'll see what happens, but really just excited.
That's fantastic. About that. And when will we start seeing season 3?
I can't say exactly, but I will say it will be in the next couple of months.
Excellent. And I understand you had a baby last summer.
Oh, I did. Yeah. So
you have 3.
1. Yeah. So this is my third little girl. And she'll turn 1 in July. So
and your girls are gorgeous.
Thank you.
So talk about juggling. You've got your design firm, your show, your family life, your retail store, and I understand that your husband Sid is a big part of this.
Yes. So he's CEO of our businesses. So that encompasses the design firm and our e-commerce business, the entire, all the things.
Whole thing.
Media,
everything. And the 2 of you published a book together, Make Life Beautiful?
Yes, we published a book together, and it's written from both of our perspectives. So we kind of bounce back and forth between the 2 of us, and it follows really our journey as entrepreneurs and then as a husband and wife team, and the ups and downs. And I'm currently writing our design book, so that will be next.
Well, it says New York Times bestseller, so you must have done a lot right with this book.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I understand you also have a collaboration with Threshold.
Yes.
For Target.
For Target, yes.
That some of your products.
Yes. One of the coolest things that we've been able to do is that collaboration and design really amazing products, really great price point, and it's an ongoing relationship. So we have a lot more up our sleeves. I just looked at holiday for 2024. So we have a lot of things in the works.
So one of the things I noticed that you're offering are faux plants. And
yes.
I used to be dead set against it until I discovered good ones. And now I'm in love with them, especially at a vacation home where you can't be there to water your plants. Like, wow.
Yes, so I'm with you. If I can do real, the plants, then I will do real. But there are cases like in darker spaces or basements, vacation homes, as you said, or rooms maybe that you just don't find yourself going in very regularly to keep things fresh. And it's the perfect solution for that. So I try to be really choosy and make them look as natural as we can.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing yours. We don't have Target in Canada, but when
I
I'm
know.
in the US, we're close to the border. We're over there all the time. I'm going to check it out. Someone told me you have like 2 aisles. It's like a big deal.
It depends on the store that you're in, but we have a pretty great section and then more online. So
that's fabulous. Okay, let's talk about your style. So I asked, the design editors, what's her handle going to be? They said, oh, well, some people said modern country style. Some people said modern farmhouse style. What do you call your style?
I think it's hard to put an exact label because I think that my tastes, one, they evolve, but two, when we design for clients, we're incorporating their personal tastes as well and putting our spin on it, of course. And so I think that there is a few descriptors that kind of carry across whether our client has a contemporary or modern aesthetic or they have a more rustic or traditional aesthetic. And I think I always love classics and I always love simplified, tailored pieces. And so for me, that's something that feels really calming. When I walk into a home, maybe it's because my life is really crazy, but I want to feel really calm. And I do love vintage pieces. And so that's probably where some of that country aesthetic comes in because I do love some of those rustic antiques. Not some, I love a lot. And incorporate, even in our really modern homes, I will encourage our clients to incorporate some antiques.
Well, it's hard to label your own style, but as an observer looking at your work, I see calm, happy, bright, positive, beautiful. But there are definitely hallmarks of your style. Like this house, this San Francisco living room, I love this.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I love the strength of the fireplace mantle, and I love your use of off black and white and the natural materials and the fact that you left the ceiling natural wood. And I love this grouping. I don't associate you with really bright colors.
No.
You're calming, neutral colors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And very calming backgrounds. And this kitchen, this is wonderful. I can see the hallmarks of your work, definitely. And vintage rugs. Are those vintage rugs or new rugs?
I use a lot of vintage rugs. That one is a vintage rug in that photo.
Beautiful. Thank you. Then this one, this is your own home. Thank you for sending us this because I hadn't seen this before.
Oh.
I love these built-ins. I love them.
Thank you. Yes, the steel built-ins were a labor of love to make happen, but I'm so glad we did because they are a really strong focal point in our living room.
So what do you think of the arched doorways? They're a big trend now. We're seeing them everywhere. What's that about? Is it the Adobe thing?
I think that when I put them in my home, my thought was, I'm building a classic home. I need a little bit of curve to break up some of the straight, clean lines. And I didn't want to overdo it on the arches, but I do have it as a theme throughout. And then of course now we're seeing a lot more of that happen. And I think my 2 cents is just if it makes sense for the home, then great. But I wouldn't force it if it doesn't make sense.
This is your kitchen.
Yes.
Wonderful. I love that you used either an old door or a good repro. Yeah. Mixing in the wood. Really nice.
I found those on eBay before we actually started building our house. So we actually framed those doors to fit the home. And if I can fit an antique door somewhere, I love to.
It adds character, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And do you usually do open above your cooking area in your money shot? Do you usually leave it open?
I think I love an open shelf somewhere in a kitchen. I think that breaking up all of the clothes is really nice, even if it's one little moment by the kitchen sink. If you're remodeling, I think that a lot of times when you're facing the kitchen sink off to the one side, there will be kind of that floater set of cabinets, and that's a really great opportunity to do open shelves. Yeah, if I can do one, it doesn't necessarily need to be around the range, but if I have an opportunity to do at least an open space, I will.
And then this living room is great. Talk about serene. And the
Oh,
bench seating is so great, isn't it?
yes,
Having
thank you.
one big cushion instead. Do
Yes,
you have,
if I can do one big cushion, I know that they get a little messy and sometimes that bugs people, but for me it looks comfortable and it just looks luxurious, and I love a deep seat. So the bench cushion just makes me want to lay down on that. And to me, that's like a
boy,
big philosophy in design, is just make people want to come in and stay a while.
do you have most of your pieces custom made, or do you buy them and then have them upholstered?
A combination. So because we own a furniture business, a lot of the pieces that we do, all of those are, the upholstery is made to order. And so we develop the shapes. I spend a lot of time developing those shapes and getting them right. And then for our clients, we do a lot of custom upholstery as well, just so we can pick the exact dimensions and the shape if I can. But then accent pieces we'll buy ready-made to mix it up as well.
So it's a mix. It's all about the mix. But you
Yes.
have found a look, even though it changes from client to client, the core is the same. You
Yes.
found a look that people love,
Oh,
because
thank you.
that's why you have so many followers. It's very accessible. It's still sophisticated. It's got a lot of layers. Like, it's just got so much going for it. What inspires you? I want to know
Um,
where your
I
inspiration comes from.
I love fashion, and
Yeah.
I love travel, and nature is always a source of inspiration for me. As you mentioned, I love organic elements. I love wood textures. And so I'm constant source of inspiration, but fashion for me is where the trend comes in. If I'm feeling like I see strong bold stripes happening in fashion, I know pretty soon we're going to start to see it crop up in interiors if we're not already seeing it. And so it's a huge source of inspiration for me, and also a mood. I think fashion is a really good way to grasp a person's like personal aesthetic. And so
Yeah,
that's
I agree with you 100%. In fact, we have a page in our magazine, Trend Watch, which is about fashion influencing home trends
yes,
every month.
it's definitely goes that way. I think fashion has a much quicker turnaround, and so it is really fun too because it's easier to change your shirt. And so I think that a lot of obviously it's more fun to play with, and so then we see that influence interiors.
Do you ever worry about a trend that you're embracing going out too fast?
I mean, of course, I think that that is a huge thought when
I stopped hearing her. I have no sound. There,
they
it's
look.
back.
Um, oh, okay, good. When I work with clients, I really have to be mindful because I think that they're actually more drawn to trends maybe than I am, because they want to feel confident that what they're doing, other people are going to like. Sometimes they're not as confident in their own decision. And so I really, really try to do trends in smaller doses. If you're going to lean into a trend, let's do it in some textiles and not purchase your really expensive sofa in that trendy fabric. And of course, some of
Oh,
that is okay, but for the most part, I try to do trends in small doses.
no, but that's such a good tip. If there's a color that's really hot, like fuchsia or something, don't paint a room in it. Put it on a throw pillow. That's a great
Right.
tip. Okay, I want some more tips from you, Shea, because I know that our viewers do. Can you give me favorite paint colors? Favorite white, favorite black, off black, favorite taupe?
Yes. So when it comes to off whites, I really love Benjamin Moore Swiss coffee.
Oh,
I think it's timeless. It's what's in the back of background here. I love White Dove as well. And I think that like those are the first two. If someone says I want a warm white in my house, those are the first two I'll tell them to try. And if those aren't reading quite right, we can go from there, but
Yeah.
they usually work.
And black or off black?
As far as a black goes, I like a color called Black Magic. And I also, if for a front door, if you want like just a true black, tricorn black by Sherwin-Williams is a great.
Oh, I haven't tried that. Thank you.
It's very saturated and it pulls like gloss really well. So for me, like if you want that glossy front door look, the tricorn's great. But Black Magic is what I have painted on my front door. So
speaking of sheen levels, in general, are you a matte girl? Low luster?
I am a low luster, matte, on the walls kind of girl. But I do love a little bit of gloss when it comes to creating some dimension between like the trim. So I'll do a satin, but it has to be the right home for me to do a high gloss, and that's not usually very often.
Yeah. What about fireplace mantles?
I usually do a satin as well.
Okay, good. Sorry, these are the tips we need. What are the accessories that you're finding? Just give me a couple that are going to bring a fresh new style to a room. Like, is it, the olive tree? What is it?
Well, a tree does make a huge difference in a room. But for me, if I can find like a vintage urn or like a jug or a pot, that to me is something that adds a lot. Also, taper candles. I think taper candles are great because they're so graceful. They work on the end of a mantle. They work on a coffee table. They work on a console. They're so versatile. And they just add a lot of height and not a lot of volume, which I think is really nice.
I agree with you. I never thought about that, but I'm over pillars everywhere. That's good.
No, I don't really do the pillars. If it's a candle like vessel, I love it, but I love a taper.
Cool. Okay. What are some of the things that you are hoping to try that you haven't done?
I think it's all the things that people don't ask me to do on a regular basis. And so no one ever asks me to do a really, colorful room. I would never do it probably in like a super saturated way, but I love to experiment with color. Also, like a glam aesthetic is something that I feel like I don't get to play with very often. But I think it can be done in a way that mixes organic and glam qualities. That would be really fun for me.
Yeah, really fun. Okay, I have to ask you some personal stuff.
Okay.
How do you do it all? How do you juggle? Like when I give speeches and women say, how do you have it all? My answer sometimes is, you can't. like it's hard. Children, family, husband, business, friends, vacations. How do you do it all?
Yeah, well, I don't think you can do it all at once. And I think that for me, I have a great team and I couldn't do it without a team. And so it's really easy to see me as a spokesperson for a company and getting out there. And it looks like I'm answering every message and I'm creating every blog post and doing every part of everything. But that's not the case. I have a great team. That wasn't always the case. I was doing a lot of it myself when we started, but a team makes a huge difference at home and in the workplace. Like if I didn't have babysitters, I wouldn't be able to, be on this call.
Right.
And so that makes a huge difference. And also I'm very laser focused. And I think that that's the best tip I can give is I have a few priorities in life, and that's my family and it's work. And then working out is a huge part of me. My mental health is just being able to find some time to exercise. But beyond that, I've had to say no to a lot of things. I say no to a lot of things because I just can't fit them in.
So number one is family. Number two is work and self, exercise, taking care of yourself. health,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you have to push aside travel, you push it aside.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna go to the Emmy Awards for sure. You're not gonna miss that,
Well,
right?
so I do love to, so my thing with travel is that is like our family time. And so at the beginning of the year, if I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. And so I learned the hard way many years of not scheduling it ahead of time. Like when our schedule would open up, we'll go on vacation. Well, that never happens. And so we say, this is when we're taking a vacation, and we block out those dates. And even if we don't even know where we're going, we have those times, and that is uninterrupted time for our family to be together. And so, but I have to plan ahead. So it takes a lot of planning.
Good advice, though. Really good advice. Okay, so I read your story about how you started and about how you and your husband decided to take your theme, Life is Beautiful, and turn it into a business, and how you really sacrificed everything. You just risked everything you had to do it, and it worked out. And there are so many young people out there, young designers or people who want to be designers, who are asking how did you do it? How did you do it? Give us a little bit of advice on getting in the right headspace to do this. What does it take?
I think one of the most important steps that we took, whether we realized it at the time or not, was we tested it out. And it required relentless work and not very much spare time, because I had a newborn and I was working really late into the night. But if I had just made the decision that I wanted to like start a design business and just made that decision and quit everything, I don't think that would have been very smart. I had to make sure that it was going to work in some way. And for me, that gave me the confidence that then we could really go all in. And so that meant putting in some overtime.
That's great advice. So I'm watching the screen as you're talking, and you have people tuning in from Poland, South Africa, everywhere, like Colombia. Do you know how far reaching your followers are?
It is it's mind blowing to me. Yes, we have followers all over the world. Thank you. And Netflix is translated into so many different languages that's really, really fun for me to see how many people are getting to enjoy the show as well in different countries. So
I just saw Denmark come up. I just saw Denmark. In fact, Borgen is starting tomorrow, a new season, one of my favorite shows.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't you love it, about the Prime Minister from Denmark? I love that show. Love.
I haven't watched it, but I will need to now.
So what's your favorite thing to do in your downtime? Is it going out for dinner? Is it traveling somewhere? What's your favorite thing?
All of the above. We love to go out, try new places. But I'd say that if we have any spare moment, it's let's go somewhere, and probably somewhere to the beach.
Yeah, turn off your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you show us a little bit more of your studio, please?
Oh, you want to see? I'm like, I didn't really clean it, but
make me jealous. Come on.
Here, you can see. So this behind me is like a little settee area here.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then there's my.
Oh, look at the wall of pictures. What's that?
My pin board here, and then this is, okay, so funny story. I'm sitting at a work table. I have a hard time focusing if I'm not like in a corner up against a wall. So I have this big space, but mostly I just do all my work in this little corner over here.
That's great. And then that means that anybody can do it.
Oh, there's a base. And then I have this is an antique hutch right there.
That's beautiful.
And then
okay, Shea,
out the window.
Do you go online and find cool things, or maybe you're at markets or something and just buy them because you know they're going to go somewhere someday?
I do. That is one of my favorite parts of the job is being able to collect and keep things in our warehouse for just the right moment.
And you use them, right?
Yes.
You use them. I mean, I've done that my whole life, and I'm way older than you, and I always use them.
Yes. It took, I had to convince Sid a little bit at the beginning that that was going to be the case, but now he knows he'll eventually use them.
Well, because if you don't do that, when it comes time and you need it, you're not going to find it. It's a lot harder.
It's true.
Yeah. Do you have favorite websites? Can you share a couple with our audience where you like to find vintage?
Oh, I shop on Etsy a lot for vintage, and especially small vintage pieces. I think that Etsy is just you can find amazing a trove of things.
Amazing.
And we'll shop First Dibs for more of the furniture.
Yeah.
But those are probably my two go-tos. And then I like to go to the antique, like I'll go to Round Top and do big hauls at Round Top.
Round Top. I don't know Round Top.
So Round Top is in Texas, and it's a small town that has a very small population most of the year, but 2 times of the year, people from all over the country come and load up their trucks, and vendors from all over bring in antiques. And so it's a huge antique show. And so I grew up in Texas and have been going for many years, and now it's really blown up, but we go and have our
That's great.
team tag everything and then load it up and then come back.
Well, if you ever come up our way to Canada,
yes,
besides Ontario's small vintage markets, there's great stuff in Quebec.
Okay.
Beautiful stuff.
I would love,
they have a history.
Anytime I travel anywhere, I usually look to see where I can.
I promise to squeeze in a couple questions, okay? I'm squeezing them in. You've already told us that season 3 will be coming out in a few months. And you've given us your whites. Oh, you gave us an off-white. Somebody's asking for a pure white. I don't know, like probably.
Pure white, I would say Chantilly Lace by Benjamin Moore is a good pure white.
That's a good one. I agree. Okay. Shiplap. You seem to like that. You use that often. Is it lasting? Someone's worried about putting it up and it going out of style, but it's classic.
I think it depends on your home, and I think it depends on how you're using it. I would never recommend doing an accent wall out of shiplap.
That's interesting.
And I don't love accent walls in general. I think that if you're going to go for it, go for it.
Just go for it.
And yes, but I have it in my studio here. I actually tend to prefer vertical tongue and groove. But the way my studio is designed, it's actually like a kind of an attic space above my garage. And so if it made sense for it to look like an old space, and I did a really wide spacing, but I don't love it in the context of just adding it as an accent wall.
Good advice. I watched one of your Netflix shows recently, and it was a 22,000 square foot house, or maybe bigger than that. It was season 2. I think it was in Utah, and it had a basketball court.
Yes.
Is any kind of sports court, is that a trend that people want in their homes? If they can afford it?
Let me say this. We design very, very large houses, and what you see on Netflix, the really, really big homes are the types of clients that we typically take on. And then for Netflix, we want to show a really wide variety of projects. And so we'll take on these one room projects. And it does seem to be in Utah, where we live, there's a lot more land, people have a lot more space, and people have big families. And so the sports court thing is very, very popular here. But I will say that my clients in other places must be catching on as well, because we're doing more of them if our clients them. So
it's probably a result also of COVID.
Yes.
Like, we know staying home, happens, and we want to be able to stay healthy and play games.
Definitely. Especially when our clients live in cold weather climates. I think that our California clients don't see that need, and there's not enough space. But if they're in a place where they're on land, they're like, let's build a barn and we'll put, a basketball hoop in it. So it's a huge luxury, I'm aware, but if they can do it, I think people are thinking about it more.
So I'm getting the warning notes that I have to wrap. So is there something you want to tell us that we haven't talked about? anything, new projects, your online store?
We just launched our new kids collection today at
Oh,
McGee and
okay.
Co.
McGee and Co.
Yeah, we have, honestly, I think just we've hit all the things that we've been working on. Stay tuned for season 3. We filmed a lot of episodes. There is a possibility it'll get split into 2 seasons, but there's so much more, and I'm so excited about how this season came together, because we have a really wide variety of projects, from renovating our own Airstream camper to
cool,
a home that was built
great.
in the 1800s. So pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. Well, a lot of people are writing and saying, delivery to Canada, please. Delivery to Canada, please. We want McGee and Co. sending stuff to Canada. Like we're a design business here, so we have a broker. We can bring it across the border. We do it all the time for McGee and Co. But not a lot of people can do that. So
not everyone
we
can
want
do that.
you.
I know it's on our wish list of things to make happen.
Good. That's good. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, congratulations. Keep going. Keep going, girl.
Thank you. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye, Shea.
Bye.